Hi folks, welcome to Perf Mentor. In this learning session, we are going to discuss three important points that are related to SAP performance testing project. Number one, what are the different types of SAP implementation projects that are available in the market? And number two, what is the importance or significance of performance testing in each of this implementation? And lastly, we'll be talk about what is the role of the performance testers in each of this implementation and what is expected from a performance tester. So we are going to discuss all these points in detail in this learning session. So let's get started. So number one, SAP Greenfield implementation. In a Greenfield implementation, what typically happens is a project or an organization, if they are building a new ERP system from the scratch, they call it as the Greenfield implementation. It could be either the lower version of SAP, that's the SAP ECC, or it could be the S4 Hana, the latest one in the market. No matter what type of SAP they are implementing in that project, if it is starting from the scratch, we call it as the Greenfield implementation. In Greenfield implementation, the key ask or the focus of all the stakeholders would be how is the new ERP system performing compared to our old legacy application, right? So that will be the focus point of all the stakeholders in the organization. So they might be using a different legacy system with a different architectural landscape, technical landscape, right? So from that, they have moved to this new ERP system. So it will be the responsibility of the performance testers to measure some of the key performance indicator to tell the stakeholders how this new system is performing compared to the old legacy application. So that will be one of the asks from the stakeholders. And the second ask or the request from the client team would be how much infrastructure is required. So we call that as capacity sizing in performance testing. So that's a kind of activity which we come up with the right infrastructure sizing for the project. So it depends, a lot of factors are involved, like how much load, how much concurrency. So all those theoretical modeling also done for this capacity sizing exercise. And usually this capacity sizing exercise is not just the performance testing responsibility. It's a team effort. It's a combined effort between basis, functional team, technical team, and the performance team. So it will be a joint exercise across all these teams, and we come up with the right sizing infrastructure that's required to run this project. So that's all about the Greenfield implementation. Number two, SAP Brownfield implementation. In Brownfield implementation, what typically happens is the project or the business might be already running their solution or the business process using the ECC system. Now they want to move it to the S4 Hana for some of the business needs that they have for the new requirement, right? So in such cases, the business has already fully functional working ECC system and they want to migrate that solution to the S4 Hana. So what typically happens is they will have both the system running and they will be slowly migrating the business process from ECC to S4 Hana in a phased manner. So they might break down, based on the complexity of the project, they might break down the entire activities into different chunks and manage it in through different release cycle. So once the whole business process and all the integrations are moved to the S4 Hana, they will decommission the ECC system. So this is what happens in the Brownfield implementation. And from the performance testing angle, so it's our responsibility, right, to see what are the merits we get out of the S4 Hana. So there will be already a performance testing project that could be running on the ECC system. Now with this new business process, they need to run all those key scenarios that they are running on the ECC on the S4 Hana and do a comparative analysis of how this new system is behaving compared to the old system. So that will be one of the key requirement for the Brownfield implementation. And again, the infrastructure requirement for both ECC and S4 will be completely different. So again, we have to be part of that capacity sizing exercise along with the basis, technical and the functional team. So these two key things will be in the scope for performance testing in case of a Brownfield implementation. Third type of implementation is the rollout implementation. So here what happens is the business or the organization might be already using the SAP for their current market, and As part of the business expansion, they might be building a new business in a different geography. As part of that, they need to integrate this current technology landscape to the different geography. As part of this, they will do a rollout implementation where they do a lot of migration and technical changes to handle that different geography. In such cases, the role of the performance tester is to simulate some scenarios from the different geography and try to understand how the performance looks like when that request comes from a different geography versus the current in-house geography, right? So they will do a comparative analysis and try to understand if there are any impact due to latency or network and all those issues. So we need to identify those root cause and get those fixed. So that will be the key ask from the performance testers in case of rollout implementation. And the fourth type of project is the upgrade project. In upgrade project, what typically happens is if the SAP system is rolling out a new version, the project will try to migrate their current version to the latest version. So that's one kind of upgrade. And the second kind of upgrade is where current solution might be running on on-premise system, and from on-premise they might move to a cloud-based solution. So even in such cases, we call it as an upgrade project. And as a performance tester, you need to evaluate before the upgrade versus the after upgrade and see how much improvement we are bringing to the table. Those targeted testing we do in the upgrade project. And the last one is the maintenance or the support project. So this is very common across most of the projects, because most of the times after the Greenfield implementation and after the Brownfield implementation, right, the project will keep running. So, but they are not going to stick with the same change, right? Year after year, they try to introduce a lot of changes. They will address a lot of bug fixes, and they might have to scale up or scale down their infrastructure. There will be a lot of technical changes that will be going on in the project. So after each of this technical change, it's the responsibility of the performance tester to understand if the new changes or the new fixes is not affecting the performance of the system in any way. So we'll be part of this maintenance or the support project as well. So if you look at the role of performance tester in each of this project, it's very important they should have a performance testing team throughout as long as they run that SAP project. So if you look at all these different types of implementation and maintenance project, right, the one common thing that happens across all this project is that the performance testing. So performance testers will play a key role throughout the entire journey of the project. So that's the end of this session. And if you want to learn more such contents, feel free to like and subscribe my channel. And if you are someone who's into SAP performance testing or who wants to learn SAP performance testing, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Bye.